Hello everyone, John here, your host on the Prepared Mind channel. It's time to talk about what's going on in Brazil. That's right, Brazil, down south of the border. Way south. All right, Brazil, way south of the border. South America, you know, they're down there below the equator, on the equator. They're down there. I've gotten a lot of questions about it lately, and I've been thinking about it. I've been watching Brazil, and I didn't want to just talk about what's going on in Brazil. I wanted to think about how it applies to the way you and I plan, the way we in the United States, or any other country for that matter, look at the world that we're in, the world that we're heading to, which is shit hitting the fan world. All right, so the last week there's been a strike by trucking in Brazil, and it's affecting fuel, the ability to get fuel, gasoline, diesel. Their country runs on it. That's their model. Our country runs on it. Now, Brazil hasn't plunged totally into shit hitting the fan, right? It's not total chaos, cities burning to the ground, people murdering each other by the thousands. It's not like that, but it's certainly not a really good place either. So it's interesting to note is what is going on, not just in Brazil, but around it. So for the past couple of years, we've been watching Venezuela get worse and worse and worse and worse. Down, 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 down. There, I mean, it depends on who you are. It depends on whether you want to go on a diet or not. Whether you go, you know, they've got terrible conditions there. Venezuela, while everyone else in the world is doing good, while Mexico's up, the U.S. is up, Europe is up, China's up, Brazil is up, Venezuela is the only one in South America really in dire straits, enough that we're aware of it. And that's because they have huge oil reserves. They've got good access to the Caribbean and the Atlantic for fishing, right? It's not a bad country. So they have had a slow slip into shit it's the fan. But Brazil, they seem to have caught up in a lot of ways to Venezuela. Not in 2 years, not in 2 months, but in like 2 weeks. You know, they've got up there fast. But why? Why is Brazil and just fuel so much worse than Venezuela, which has been dealing with currency crisis? You know, their bolivar, I believe, it's garbage. So why is Brazil so much faster? It's a bigger country, which means it can sustain itself more. It's got more resources. It should be better. It should take longer, or should it? So what I want to look at is the world of Brazil. Its world is basically South America. It's got a lot of agriculture, light industry, good resources. But Brazil, to the north is Venezuela. To the south is Argentina. And that's key, I think, here in studying what's around Brazil and where they are at. And that is why Brazil is dealing with the crisis they have now. In Argentina, they're having another currency crisis. So like the United States, like Europe, like Germany, like the EU, the countries around you affect how you're doing. Right? It affects your quality. And I think it also affects the speed at which problems can be exacerbated. You see, Venezuela's been slipping and sliding down for a long time. But the people haven't gone crazy. Right? The freeways aren't packed with vehicles right off the bat. It's been a slow decline. But Brazil right now is dealing with a currency crisis in Argentina. They're dealing with a currency crisis in Venezuela. And there is a problem in Brazil. They're not getting the money they need to stay in business. They're not getting the money they want, but hell, none of us are. but they're not getting the money they need to stay in business. So what has been the response of the Brazilian authorities? There's a lot of Brazilian jokes here. You know, everyone needs to get a cut. Everyone needs to trim it down. I'm sorry. I had to make a joke at their expense. You know, all the bad guys, they need to be waxed. I mean, how many more Brazilian jokes can I get? Oh, believe me, there's a lot. Okay, so Brazil. They are suffering at a faster rate because other countries around them have come down first. And they're all interconnected. The whole world really is interconnected now. All of them. Right? But it's a regional area for Brazil. So let's step back and go, okay, Brazil's got its problems. Are they tied to Argentina? Are they tied to Venezuela? Do they trade with those countries? Probably. Do they exchange resources with those countries? Probably. Do people in those countries, like say Brazil and Argentina, do they cross the border back and forth and share an exchange? Probably. Same with Venezuela to the north and Brazil. Do they probably have some economic exchange? Yeah, of course. You know, to the extent Venezuela is in business, I bet a lot of it comes through Brazil. You know, in my town here, you know, we don't do any trading with Brazil. But I bet Venezuela and Argentina do. So let's take a trip over the pond to Europe. What is going on right now in Europe? This very moment, there is an absolute crisis financially. Currency crisis, money, monetary system, finance, economics. In Italy, right? L'Italia. Italy is fucked up. What is Italy's problem? Too much debt, not enough productivity, too much money is being paid, lost, it's being stolen, just like in every other country around the world. The wealth of the people is being sucked away. Mismanagement, misappropriation, graft, theft, corruption, just like every other country. But it's Italy. Italy is, I believe, the third most valuable, productive, largest economy in the European Union. They really want that to be like the United States, a lot of those guys. And they can't get there because of the differences in cultures. I mean, they've got a lot of history and a lot of cultures. They're not the same people. It's not like everyone landed in Portugal and spread throughout the continent the way they did here in North America, where the Europeans came and spread throughout, spreading a unified style culture. Europe is developed independently in all these places. They have different cultures, different ideas, and hence different attitudes. So Italy, even though it's the third most productive economy, it's having the most problems with debt servicing, taxation. The way they run business there is just different. And as a result, it is taxing the entire EU system. They have a ton of debt. I mean, imagine this. Imagine if you could write on slips of paper, I owe you $1 million. I owe you $1 million. I owe you $1 million. And I'll pay you back $1,500,000. Right? And you could write those all fucking day long. And you hold one up and someone walks by and they buy it. And you take that $1 million and you put it over here. And then you write out another one. I owe you $1 million and I'll pay you an extra $500,000. You hold it up and another fucking sucker buys it. After a while you'd think, you know what? I only needed $2 million, but I'm going to write these pieces of slip, these pieces of paper, these IOUs, and they're called bonds. Government bonds. I'm going to write these all fucking day long. We only need $2 million. Fuck it. I'm going to get $200 million because every time I write one of these, I hold it up, some jackass buys it. The Italians are going, free money. Yeah, we'll pay you back. Good fucking luck, right? No. Why does rum and coke make me laugh more? All right. So, that's what the Italians have done. Third largest economy. They've got massive debt. And who has bought it? When they hold it up in the air, who buys it? Fucking Bundesbank. The fucking Germans. And the Germans aren't stupid. They're the most productive country. They're the most administratively, bureaucratically efficient country, probably in the world. You know, it's arguable. All that's arguable. But they definitely got their shit together. Why are they buying those fucking bonds? It doesn't make any sense to me, because they should be smart enough to know better. There's Italians holding IOUs in the air. Don't buy them. Well, they're doing it. They bought it. And now they're in debt. Italy is in debt to the Germans. They're in debt to the EU. They're in debt to the European Central Bank, the ECB. You know, Mario Draghi's in charge of the ECB. He's a fucking criminal and an Italian. Right? Essentially, a lot of money has been stolen and taken in Italy. There's a problem in Italy, but it's starting to affect Germany up here. It's going to affect Spain. It's going to affect France. Viva la France! It's going to affect France, Belgium, everybody in the EU. It's affecting them all. So we've watched Greece have a bunch of trouble because they're Greeks. They had a ton of trouble. They're like, hey, free money, right? And they did their debt thing years ago. And they almost collapsed, and the bank came out and said austerity, which means we're going to take all your fucking money. We're not going to give you shit. You blew it, you're done. That's what austerity means. You blew it, you're done. We're taking your shit. Anyways, the Italians, they have been having problems for years. I mean, they're all having problems. We're all having problems, for fucking Pete's sake. But the Italians have been next, and they've been staving it off. The banks, the Germans, others have been buying this Italian debt. The money is being stolen, squandered, whatever. Because they're not held accountable. They're like a bunch of children. Right? And I love the Italians. I've met some great people from Italy. I love them. I'm not putting them down as individuals or as a people, but it's their culture. And it's the fact that the system is corrupt itself. The system is corrupt, and corrupt individuals run the system. So, the Italian system, run by these corrupt fucks, are in massive debt. And everyone else is on the hook for it, meaning the Germans. Whoever else is buying the bonds. So Greece went into the shithole. And they've been slowly going into crap, and they can't get out of it. They're stuck down there. That's what Venezuela's like. They got into crap and they're stuck. And then Argentina, which is prone to have problems, was next. Maybe you see where I'm going with this. And that is affecting Brazil, the big dog on the block in South America. Let's take a look at Europe again. You got Greece. It's kind of like Venezuela. It's really fucked. Right? And then you start having problem in Argentina with the financial system. Kind of like you've got Greece and now Italy. So you've got Venezuela and Argentina. You've got, do I say Venezuela, Argentina, then you got Greece and Italy. Brazil is having problems because of Argentina and Venezuela. And it's affecting them at a faster rate. And you've got Greece and now Italy having financial problems, economic, monetary problems. And who is holding the debt of Italy? It is Germany. And then the whole EU. We could start seeing similar problems in the European economic circle, the EU, the ECB's control zone. And Germany and other countries could go down really quick if Italy falls. That's why they're talking about Italy, and you're like, Italy? It's shaped like a boot. Right? There's lots of good Italian jokes about that.
Playtime is over. Get your Prepared Mind merchandise to show your support for the channel, stop censorship, and to tell YouTube they can smoke it. Get prepared now.
Italy is shaped like a boot. It's just a small little country, but it's supremely productive for its size, its geography, its layout. They do a great job, right, the Italians. But they've also managed all this debt because of a corrupt system. So Greece, Italy screws up Germany, takes down Europe. Venezuela, Argentina screws up Brazil, takes down all of South America. The little countries that are the biggest problems go first. And then they start affecting the middle-sized countries. And then they have a problem and they take out the big country. So things that took a long time will take less time for big countries. Now let's move to North America. Us, the United States, with the 51st state to the north called Canada, the 52nd state called Australia, because we really are interconnected. And I really love people from around the world. The other day I was in a bar. I was in my bar. I was in a bar, and there's two fucking guys in there in hockey jerseys. And I go, "What are you doing?" And they go, "We're here to watch the hockey game." And I go, "Yeah, but you're wearing those jerseys." They go, "We're from Canada." And I go, "Okay, so what are you doing here?" They go, "We're riding our bikes." So they're these old guys like me. They're riding their motorcycles, you know, and they bring their fucking hockey jerseys with them. So no matter where they're at, they go to a bar, wear their hockey jerseys, watch the teams. It's fucking great. I love them. I love people from around the world. They're amazing. Met Italian guys that way also. It's really cool. But we're all interconnected. So in America, to get back to the actual point of the video, in the United States of America, we are like the rest of the world. Yeah, America is supposed to be the big economy, the most productive, even though China is about to overtake or has overtaken us, depending on how you want to look at it and factor it all in. Yada, yada, yada. The United States, relative to Brazil, United States, Brazil, Brazil's dealing with Argentina. The U.S. is looking at Europe and Germany and what's going on there. Right, okay, so Greece is to Italy what Argentina is to Brazil. Germany is to the United States, the same relationship. Germany isn't as big as the United States geographically, financially, but they're very powerful. They're also in an incredible amount of debt, where they have a lot on their books. Right? Their balance sheet is loaded with shit. We do a lot of business with Germany. Germany affects all of Europe, and Europe affects the United States. So let's look at this again. Greece is to Italy, is to Germany. Venezuela is to Argentina, is to Brazil. And Germany is to the EU, is to the United States. They go down slow, Greece and Venezuela. Italy and Argentina can step up the business pretty quick. And we're watching Brazil getting fucked up at a fast rate. Right? Brazil, there's people that are fucking pissed off. Their freeways are packed. They've lost their infrastructure because they're not getting fuel. Right? They have a higher standard of living in Brazil than they do in Venezuela. Right? And it's not all about standard of living. At some point you go to the first world and you're like, you know, there's no comparison. You can't lose the comparison. They're the same. Right? Brazil is like a first world nation in its big cities. Same with Europe. Of course it's first world nation. Of course the U.S., except for some backwater cities like the one I live in, it's first world nation. But what I'm trying to show here is the smaller countries, they're the first ones to go, and they seem to take a long time to fail. Greece for years has been fucking up, like basically since they joined the EU, got rid of the drachma, which is their dollar, right? And they were like, hey, it's party time. Everyone else is going to pay for our shit. La, da, 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 and they did their little Greek dances. Yeah, big mistake. And they went, and it took a long time to fuck Greece up, and then they have put a tax on everyone else, a strain on everyone else. As these little countries slowly spread out their fuck-ups, medium-sized countries, relatively speaking, start to have troubles as well. And they seem to get in trouble faster. When it gets time for Germany, for the EU, and for the United States to crash, it's going to happen a lot quicker. You know, I've been talking about this slow slide into shit hits the fan. Is it possible that the United States could take a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, much like Venezuela, to go from where we're at today all the way down? right? And people go, oh, of course we're so civilized, we've got so many resources, right? We're so brilliant and all this other shit. Or the other argument is Americans are a bunch of spoiled, whiny babies. They want their shit now, you know, and if they don't get it, they're going to throw a fucking fit. And so you get instant barn burning. What we're seeing in South America is a great example of what we should, as preppers, expect to see up here. Venezuela's been in trouble a long time. They got a bunch of trouble. It's taken a long time for them to go downhill. They're at the shit it's the fan place. Argentina, it's going a little faster. Currency crisis, they're used to fucking up, but they're a bigger country. They got a lot of resources, but they're still fucking up. And it takes down Brazil. You notice the entire continent in South America is having trouble. Peru and Chile are not far behind. I'm sure people could make arguments that they're not, but I can't remember which one has communists. Oh yeah, all of South America has communist issues. Up here we call them socialists, but down there, they're just fucking communists. That never helps any situation. So what I'm saying is, as these little ships fall, these little countries fall, and their debt is just hoisted onto the back of the next country until that country starts to collapse. And then all of that debt is hoisted onto the EU, onto the United States, onto China. And we, for example, in the United States of America, land of the free, home of the brave, yada, 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 we're so rich, we're so smart, we can't stand it. Right? That's the attitude, the mentality. But guess what? We're flat fucking broke here. Our economy is in a shambles. Why? Because our production capacity has been exported by international corporations that have gone to districts, to venues, to other nations where they get tax breaks on top of the tax breaks, and they pay their labor, their wages, very, very little money. So they've enriched themselves, decimated our country at 3 times over, 4 times over. Our nation's been decimated, right? And we have a standard of living here and an entitlement mentality that cannot be supported if the countries around us that support us can't hold us up. That's right. The countries that support the United States and do business with us are actually also responsible for holding us up. The same way Venezuela and Argentina and Chile and Peru and other South American countries help hold up Brazil, which is the big nation. Just like in Europe, you've got Cyprus and Greece. They're little countries. They go and work with countries like Italy and Spain is fucking broke, dead-ass broke, along with Portugal. What did they call those countries? Pigs? Portugal, P, Ireland, I, pigs. Who is G? Oh yeah, Greece, right? Spain is S. The pigs, they've gone down. Is it Ireland or Italy on the I? It doesn't fucking matter. But the little countries, as they start to crumble, take out the bigger ones around them. And then the bigger ones bring down the bigger ones yet. Like I said, Germany is now looking in their picnic basket of goodies that they thought they brought with them for a good fucking time. They open the lid and look down there and they see a fistful of IOUs. They own nothing but debt from countries who have no desire, ability, willingness to pay it back. Crash, crash, crash. So once again, I wanted to draw long, slow crash, small country, medium-sized country, faster crash, big country, fastest crash. Greece took a long time. Italy, accelerating, isn't it? We've been looking at and talking about Italy, at least I have, for a couple of years now. Knowing the Italian system. The Italian banking system. Never mind. Old stories, Venice, etc. The Vatican Bank. They're going to go down faster, and they'll bring down everything else fastest, because all these little countries really do hold up the big ones. The big ones like to pretend like the little guys are hanging on their coattails. What I'm saying is when we look at it, when we examine it from the way I've just gone through, and I'm sorry it's taken 25 minutes to get there, but you know how I am. The United States could have, because I don't really know. I really don't know. Will we have a 3-year slide into shit it's the fan? Economic destruction and reset and all that? Or will it happen over a course of weeks or even days? The way it's going on in Brazil now, where Venezuela's taken years to get to where they've got major trouble. Argentina, a few months, because they're pretty good at it, lots of practice. And I do like the people that I've met and talked to from Argentina. But when you get to Brazil, didn't take a whole lot of fucking up to fuck their country up, did it? No fuel, no trucking, done. Nothing but fucking chaos and misery everywhere. In fact, last year, Brazil had some problems with what? Police action. Law and order. How long did it take for the fires to start and the killings to start and the gangs running through the fucking streets? About a week. Everyone seems to have forgotten that. It's all gone away. Nothing to see here. Not so. Lots of problems in Brazil. So the upshot, the lesson for us here in North America, is we are the big dogs, supposedly, presumably, based on history, but we are supported by these little nations in little blocks, and they are slowly failing. Their failing rate is increasing. The speed at which they're failing is increasing even more. What does that mean for us? You know, I like to say use history as our guide. We can use very recent history, the examples I've talked about. Venezuela, bouncing to Argentina, bouncing to Brazil, right? Greece, bouncing to Italy, looking at Germany next. There's a lot of fear, worry, doubt going on. What is going to happen in Germany? If Italy fucks up, it'll take Germany out instantly. With Germany gone, the EU is finished. The United States. The EU is to the United States the way Italy is the number 3. Italy's the number 3 country in the EU, and Germany's the number 1. Germany fails, it takes out... Italy fails, takes out Germany. The 3 biggest economies in the world, the Chinese sector, the American sector, and the European sector. Europe is number 3. America is supposed to be number 1. There's that 3-1 ratio. Europe falls, the US falls. That just leaves China. I'm sorry, I couldn't fucking resist. You guys know me, I have a sense of humor. So Italy, number 3 country, if it falls, it's going to take out Germany, number 1. Brazil is down there. Argentina fails, it's going to take out Brazil. That's where we're at. That's how close we are to shit hitting the fan. And I know, I apologize for taking so long to get there, but I want to talk about all of these factors. Everything that goes into this. What the fuck is going on? How does it work? What can we expect, right? Get your ass prepped if you're not. And I know most of you probably are, and you probably hate it when I go into this routine. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Have a plan. Don't get caught by surprise. Look out there. Look out there. See what the fuck's going on. Understand it. Keep up on it. I swear to God, it didn't take me a whole lot of time to catch up on today's events. I looked out there, said, okay, these are the things happening. Yeah, we're fucked. Plan is working. The plan is being prepared. Understanding how this can come down, right? By looking at these other examples. And I'm sorry to say this, but thank you, Greece. Thank you, Italy, Portugal, Spain. Thank you, Germany, for showing us what the fuck is going to happen here in the U.S. Thank you, Venezuela. Thank you, Argentina, for fucking up. Right? And thank you, Brazil, for showing us how they affect you guys. Thank you, all you stupid communists down there in Central and South America, for showing us exactly how you guys want to screw things up. And then here in the United States, oh, I don't want to leave anyone out. I'm an equal opportunity kind of guy. Thank you, United States, for being the centerpiece of the central banking cartel, for establishing the Federal Reserve System and showing exactly how good it is, as long as you're the person benefiting from a fractional reserve system, a fiat money issuance system that isn't backed by anything of real value. I mean, think about it. And I'm going to leave you guys with this. What is the Federal Reserve doing right now? They're punching numbers into a computer, and they're accepting ownership of corporations, ownership or debt of the United States. And they push those electronic ones and zeros and go ahead and spend that and call it money. And we just got Yellowstone. We just got Yosemite. We just got the Grand Canyon and all their assets. I tell you what, I could do the same fucking thing from inside this fifth wheel. I could go over to my computer. I could log in. I'm the general manager of the Federal Reserve System. I'm going to call it the John Reserve System. And the federal government says, hey, we need money. And the Federal Reserve System says, we'll give you money at 2.8%. And I go, hey, hold on there, United States of America. I'm going to loan you $5 trillion today. I'm going to make this deal, this bargain. $5 trillion today at 2.5%. You take that money onto your books. I'll transfer with some keystrokes onto your books, and you just start spending away like a drunk sailor at a whorehouse. You've got $5 trillion. I want 2.5% back. What's 2.5% of $5 trillion? It's the zeros that kills me. What is that? 2.5% of $5 trillion. I don't even want to get out the calculator. What is it? Seriously, what is it? $25 billion? Or is it $50 billion? Or is it $125 billion? It don't fucking matter. I, with some keystrokes, just made $125 billion in repaid electronic zeros from the federal government. And I can take those and I can go buy shit with them. I will cut a much better deal to the United States government than the Federal Reserve ever will. Hell, I'm having a fire sale on loans. I'll give it to you for 0.5%. The point is, it's bullshit, right? If I could type in those zeros and accept a lower percentage rate, and I know I'm not trying to manage an economy, but the point is they're not really doing anything. They're not creating anything. They're not making anything. They're authorizing the government to go into debt that they have to pay the bank that you and me and everyone you know are going to have to pay back. But we pay back with ones and zeros, but we don't type them in on our bank account. We have to go to work and work 8, 10, 12 hours a day to earn our ones and zeros. They just type them the fuck up and ship them out. That is why the world is so completely fucked up. Because central banks and banking systems everywhere create money from nothing and demand payment and interest and ownership of real assets in return. Right? The golden goose. The goose and the golden egg. The goose that lays the golden eggs. Right? They've got us. They're strangling the fuck out of us now, but they've got us. They've been getting all of our wealth out of us for decades. It's a fucking trick. It's a shell and pea game. The dice are loaded. The cards are marked. How many more gambling metaphors can I use? It's there we are. That's the problem. That's how it's working. You and I need to be ready for shit to hit the fan because they are coming for us. The system is failing. And everyone else is giving us an example of what we can see here in America. I'm expecting, because Americans are spoiled, Americans are entitled, Americans are stupid, we're a really big country, everyone else will fail around us, and then we will crumble, crash, and burn in a accelerated manner with everyone screaming and running around like little girls with their hair on fire. And little boys and grown boys and everyone else. Nobody gets out of this. We'll be lucky to get out of it alive. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Go to thepreparedmind.club. Go there, look around, see what the fuck we have. Order shit. Anything you need to get prepared because time is short. Last couple of days, we've seen a lot of volatility in the stock market. We're seeing volatility in the world of politics, volatility in the world of diplomacy, volatility in the world of chemistry. Oftentimes means shit can catch on fire pretty quick. Reactions can go off, explosions can happen, bad things are the result. Get prepared. I'm John. You're not. Godspeed, Semper Fi. Chance favors that prepared mind is yours. Talk to you soon.